Okay, so last time, y'all sort of explored the city of Ingan, country of Ingan, city of Okiai. Wow, good job, Nate. One sec.
Country
What?
city of Ingun.
It's a city-state.
Thought my dad was calling my name.
How
Anyway.
rude. Doesn't he know that we have a podcast to do?
I mean, you'd think we've done this twice already, but I mean, I've also worked at the same place for 3 years and they still don't know my schedule, so whatever.
Fair enough.
So you explored the city of Okiai a bit. You went to the floating market and found yourself a little kitty cat friend. That's not very little. You met Hinata and Yuka, and they sent you off to the Temple of Guiding Light, where you met the 3 high priests of the individual temples there. And then you ended up going and getting assigned by Captain Kanan to go and fight some hags. Or he assigned you to fight a hag. Turns out there was 3. Kim almost died. My apologies.
No,
But-
it's okay. It's what I would have wanted. It's not
you
what Sky would have wanted, but
But you pulled through, and you cut off their heads, and you made your way back to the inn, where Aya had a mild freak out at the fact you were dragging in 3 large, disgusting hag heads into her tavern at God knows what hour.
wasn't it around midnight?
Something like that. Later than she would have. Actually, she never would have wanted to see someone dragging in giant hag heads, but especially probably not past sundown.
I mean, it's fine. She's seen worse, probably. She runs an inn.
In a D&D world, this is fair.
People do some weird shit.
Like us. Like dragging hag heads throughout the town.
Basically.
I mean, I meant like weird sex stuff, but yeah.
She's not the one who's
Like
cleaning
dragging
the
hag
rooms.
heads, no.
I don't know.
Ugh. So you got back, and it was too late to go to the King's Hand district again. So you retired for the evening. And that's where
That's it.
we're
We're done adventuring.
Come on, I drew a diagram for this. Leave me alone. Okay.
End of podcast, everyone.
No, please.
Sorry. I'm just in a mood, apparently.
Apparently. Goodness. Okay. So that's where we ended off last session. So we're going to start it back up again. And it's morning. Good morning, everyone. Did you all cram into the same room again last night?
100%.
Okay. I will tell you this now. It's gonna get uncomfortable doing that with a growing panther.
I mean, the panther was probably cuddling with Gawain.
Exactly.
I don't know if the panther could fit on the bed since Gawain kind of...
If Gawain can fit on the bed, so can the panther.
Exactly.
Not together they can't.
Not with that attitude.
They're long, they're
believe
not
in them.
wide. These aren't like queen-size beds. You didn't pay that much. You didn't pay at all.
But
Kyner
you're
did
assuming
not
they're
pay
next
that
to
much.
each other. Like,
Look, why can't you just let this happen?
we can Tetris this.
Let me
Just
have
let
this.
this happen.
Fine.
That's just the
Don't
panther.
worry about logistics then. Anyway, it's in the morning. Sun is starting to peek out from just beyond the buildings that sort of line the docklands edge of the lagoon. It's earlier than it was before, despite the fact that you were nearly as tired and probably got back later than you did the day before. So y'all gonna get up and scrub yourself off and get yourself some breakfast? Or are you just...
Me- I mean, yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah? Alright.
Unless we really
Daily
have
routine.
to get rid of those heads.
Well, they might be starting to smell.
Look, daily routines take priority.
Okay, solo mission, someone. Split the party.
No.
Oh my god. So, for the sake of brevity, we'll say you all went and you took baths, and then you grabbed the hag heads to take them down to eat some breakfast, making it so that the vast majority of the customers sort of just picked
Give
up.
us a wide berth.
They gave you a wide... It's so wide that if they were sitting on the same half of the inn as you, they immediately picked up their stuff and moved to the other half of the inn.
God's just like, well, this is nice.
Oh, rude.
One important question.
Yes.
Is there a cat bowl with a cat portion?
No, it's just on a regular plate.
Alright. Not as cute, but I'll take it.
Okay, so where do we get a cat bowl?
That's our next adventure.
Probably the floating market.
It's okay. She
Well,
can sit at the
then
table
that's what we
with
have
us.
to do next.
No, she can just sit at the table with us. She's trained.
Okay.
Telepathically overnight, she's trained now.
Okay.
Do. And specifically, the halfling woman who I've yet to name brings over a plate of shredded fish for Gwen.
Excellent.
Wait, okay, that you have yet to name, or that we have not asked the name of?
I've literally not named her. I'm sorry. She's just the other halfling woman, and then there's the pimply faced kid, and then there's Aya.
I'm tempted to ask for her name
Okay,
now.
because, yeah, same.
There you go. That's the halfling's name. I have yet to name.
Ma'am, what's your name?
Screw y'all.
Okay.
No, that was out of character. Don't
It's a
worry.
weird name, but alright.
Thank God for behind the name. Y'all suck. No, you've challenged me. Now I have to.
I'm ready for it to just be like Tammy or something.
Yeah, it's Hammy too. Ron
No.
Swanson is terrified.
God. Do.
God, we're all giggly today.
Good. Good
Yeah.
time.
Do. Miho. Her name is Miho.
Alright.
That's M-I-H-O. There we go. Her name is Miho. And she's gonna walk away from your table, bustling about, sort of like glaring at the patrons who are giving you quite as wide of a berth as they are. She's like, "Oh, come on, they're dead. They're not gonna bite ya."
She might, though.
She might.
If they ask nicely.
Just don't touch the fish and you'll be fine.
So you have your breakfast, and it is about time for you to head out and get rid of your not great smelling cargo.
I mean, yeah, we go do that, I guess.
Okay.
Can I hide the head under my clothing at least to an extent?
You
like-
can make a sleight of hand check, I guess.
Ooh, I think I'm trained in that.
Nice.
Thank you, ninja training. Oh, crap.
Doesn't
boy.
help, I see.
10 total.
10. You can sort of get it mostly covered.
All three of us make sleight of hand checks. Try and hide them.
Sure, you can if you'd like, and if the average is high enough, we'll figure something out.
Fuck it, why not?
What
What's
you-
the worst that could happen?
Why don't you two roll like 20s or something, knowing my luck? I'm okay
You
with
adding
this.
9.
anything? 9. Okay.
Oh.
Oh. So,
Off to a great start.
Claws.
I
They
win.
rolled a
Rolls
1.
across the floor.
you can sort of kind of cover them up. It's not great. Like, anyone who gives you even the briefest of second glances is going to see that you're carrying something weird. They might not be able to tell what it is, except for Gawain, who is kind of just like barely holding it like behind his back and just kind of walking funny with it. Like, which, just like holding it behind his back like a little kid tries to hold a toy they're not supposed to have behind their back to hide it from their parents.
No.
And you make your way out towards the ferry that'll take you directly from the Docklands to the King's Hand district. Seems that people are just sort of getting used to seeing you around now, because they don't immediately get off when they see your panther, and they don't quite get out of the way. They still sit pretty far away from you, especially since you have, the hag's heads.
Grossest smelling hag's heads.
Grossest smelling hag's heads. Like, you can see a couple of people gag a bit, and a couple of the gondoliers make faces like they've
This guy
smelled.
smiles at all of them.
Of course they do. But otherwise, the trip is uneventful. There's a bit of complaining from people. But this is a port city. So this is honestly probably not the weirdest or worst smelling thing they've seen come through here. But it is up there. Like, top 5.
Okay, we need to bring the worst one now.
Oh, no.
This is a challenge.
Stop it.
Like, even though we're basically in New York City right now, we would still stand out.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying it's not the weirdest. But it is certainly very
No,
strange.
I know. That was my point. Like, it's a pretty weird place already. But this is still just... It's on the radar.
It's on the radar. You are a blip.
That's
So,
all I've ever wanted.
if I could sing, I would start singing that Goofy movie song. Anyway, so I'm pointing in my room, like you can see where you're going, but you can't. So you make your way across the water. The sun is slowly rising in the sky, which the heat is making the smell worse by like the hour. So it's getting bad. So you make your way onto the King's Hand District Island, and do you go immediately to where you met?
I think we want to get rid of
I
these as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
Immediate.
Okay.
Immediate.
Okay. So you make a beeline towards the administrative building, and you see people sort of purposefully step out of your way when they see you just sort of power walking there, with giant hag heads swinging from
The
your
most
hands.
efficient form of movement.
And as you come in, the smell and the sound of the doors opening cause a whole bunch of heads to turn, and they see what they assumed was going to be a returning party with one hag head. They see 3. And so someone immediately takes off down that hallway where Kanan's office is and starts knocking kind of frantically at his door. And as he comes out, he's hit with the smell, and you can see him green a little. And as he's walking forward, he pales. He's like, "Oh, I did not realize that it was a coven." And he immediately goes and
Got
grabs...
rid of them for you.
I can see that. And he starts flipping through this basket of paperwork to try and find the contract that y'all had written up or had signed the evening before. And he pulls it out and he starts scratching at it with a quill to make edits to it. He says, "So, I promised you 300 gold each for one hag head." And he sort of pulls a ledger out from... He's at this big front desk area. And he pulls a ledger out from underneath the desk. And he starts flipping through it. He says, "I can offer you an extra 200 for each head. Each. If that is acceptable." So you would get a total of 700 gold each. Hello?
I mean, hell yeah, we'll take it.
Okay. For a second there, I thought I'd cut off on y'all because y'all weren't listening to me that. Okay.
Well, considering negotiating.
I was trying
Yeah.
to give someone else a chance to talk,
Yeah.
Okay.
but apparently Sky's the media liaison.
Face of the party. Face of the party.
This is not a role they wanted, but sure.
Hang on.
And so
I'm sure
he-
we all know the true face of the party is Guinevere.
Exactly.
That's true.
And he
And
waves
he's
a
the
couple...
mascot.
team pet. And so he waves a couple of the other city guards forward, and they take the hag's heads from you and put them in these. It's not quite burlap, but it's a cloth sack that looks too small for the heads, but they just sort of disappear into it without any issue.
Ooh, fancy.
And Kanan pulls out 3 slips of paper, and he starts writing on them. And if you look over the desk, you can see they look like not quite checks, but sort of like release forms where it's been printed on a printing press, and you just sort of fill in the blanks. And he starts filling in your names and the amount of gold you're each supposed to have. And when he's done, he signs them and hands them to you and says, if you go back across the bridge, across from the Aquamaran Academia, there is the National Bank, and they will fulfill the requests on your payment slips.
Alright, sounds good.
All right.
Get our money.
Go get your money. And if you want to, you can change your sapphires here for actual gold. So they're not just
Well,
sitting in your
that's
pockets.
probably a good idea.
That's probably a good idea.
Because I know y'all still just have them sitting in your pockets, and it's like you can't really do much with them.
Yeah.
Not everyone is
Yeah,
going to
they
take...
look cool.
They look cool, but not everyone is going to take them as payment like Yuka and Hinata did. So you go in, and...
I mean, do we really need to go anywhere else? Probably.
and
Look.
as you are coming out of the administration building, you haven't quite gone there yet, to the bank. As you're coming out of the administration building, you see a familiar face walking up. It's Pelanavan, and she looks concerned in a way that she had not before. And she has a slip of paper in her hands, and she moves towards the bulletin board where people have been posting.
This guy gets really excited and walks up to her. Hello.
Let's see if I can remember the voice I gave her.
Real quiet.
It was real quiet. Oh, hello. Have you returned from a quest?
Yeah, we just got through killing a couple of hags.
Oh,
It was like a coven. It was dangerous. It was
I
very
heard.
dangerous.
I heard about that. They said they were
I
killing.
nearly died.
And she
No.
She-
It's okay. It's okay.
she
I'm
sort
fine.
of
I'm fine.
her hands immediately go to her mouth as she gasps, and the paper just sort of starts fluttering to the ground, and then she realizes she drops it.
Yeah, Sky tries to grab the paper.
Okay, you both go down at the same time, so roll a dexterity check for me.
Oh lord.
Double failure, double failure, double failure.
Nah, I'm fine. Okay, you're good. If
15.
yeah, and I rolled a 15 plus whatever the crap her dexterity save is, so 16. So you're both fine. Otherwise, you would have conked heads. It would have been hilarious, but
Damn it.
Ha! Get wrecked, DM.
um, and Pelinel sort of grabs it just before you, and she says, "Are you okay? I mean, you look alive, but are you okay?"
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. So what's the... This guy kind of motions to the paper. What's this?
She looks.
Everything okay?
She shakes her head and she looks very distressed. Her eyebrows are furrowed, and she's got a deep frown on her face, and she says, something has come into the gardens and set things on fire, and the other sisters said they heard howling at night, and so the Mother Superior has told me to come and post a request for aid.
Well, we'll go ahead and handle that for you.
And she looks surprised, and she's like, "Are you sure? You said you just got back from fighting hags. Are you sure you can?"
Well, I mean, yeah, but we're fine. We lived.
We've slept since then. We're fine.
That doesn't make her feel any less concerned.
Come on, we're big and strong and tough, and we can handle it.
She looks at you and she says, well, she doesn't say anything. She sort of reaches out.
Okay, I'm tall, but the other two are big and strong.
She pats at your arms and feels that there's like nothing there. Despite the fact that you have lifted both a giant barrel and a panther without much issue before.
Yeah, I gotta come up with some excuse this episode to keep that a running joke.
And so, she says, well, I have to go in and tell the guard of the request so that they can write a contract for you.
Okay.
And she sees the slips that you have, the release slips, and she says, I will meet you at the dock afterwards.
Okay, I'll see you then. Can I hug you? Would that be okay?
She kind of freezes for a moment, and she's
No, it's okay. You don't have to.
She looks like she's not quite sure what to do, and so she just sort of reaches out and pats your shoulder.
This guy pats her shoulder.
Gawain has looked away. He can't look at this anymore.
And she takes her hand back very quickly, and she says, later then. And she scurries off to the administration building.
Social link up.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Oh my god.
Folks will pat this guy on the back and say, "Aye, that was smoother than a rocky mountainside."
It was better than last time, so I'll give you that one.
I just want to make friends with everyone. Is that so hard?
It's very hard, actually. Yes.
Well, I'm gonna try.
And so you make your way to the bank, which has very gaudily lined their doorframe in like gold leaf.
Okay, everyone. Heist. Heist.
But otherwise it's like a very obtuse looking building. Like it's just kind of, it's very much like the guard building, where it was very much built for function over form, except for that band of gold leaf around the door, which sticks out like a sore thumb because of how just plain the rest of the building looks. But you walk in, and there's a series of 3 tellers. One is a bronze dragonborn gentleman. The other is an older gnome. You can't quite tell what their gender is. They've got very short cropped hair. And then the other one is a human young woman with curly blonde hair tied up in a tight ponytail. And it's
Is there a significant line?
Not really. There's a couple of people. The Dragonborn is the only one that is currently open. So if you want to walk on up to him,
Yeah, waltz right on over.
and he looks.
Walk like a normal person.
Get my money.
And he looks up at you, and he has these small, round glasses sort of perched at the end of his nose, to the point where it almost feels like they're too far from his eyes to really make a difference. But apparently they're working for him. And he looks up at you and he says, yes, and how can I help you today?
Hi. Okay, so there are two things that we need to do. We need to exchange these, and Sky kind of holds up the slip of paper that had like an actual name that I can no longer fucking remember.
Kanan?
Guy or Keenan? Or Kanan?
Kanan.
God.
There we go. I don't know if I typed that out for you last time, sorry.
And Sky also pulls out one of the sapphires. I can't remember how many we had.
You
We
had
have one each.
3, so it's 1 each.
One each. Yeah, so
Okay.
Sky pulls out their sapphire and goes, okay, and we have 3 of these that we need to exchange.
He, the Dragonborn takes the slip first and sort of wiggles his glasses back and forth on his nose and sort of holds the paper far away and then up close. He's like,
Okay.
he says, yes, I see. And I gave him a different voice, even between the 2 times he's talked today.
That's just how voice acting is sometimes. Just roll with it.
And he looks at Gawain and folks and he's like, I suppose you have these as well.
Yeah,
Aye.
come on, guys.
I held up my rock and my paper.
Fork over the goods.
And so he takes the slips of paper first, and he takes this big round stamp, and he sort of smacks each of them in turn with a really resounding thump noise. And he turns and excuses himself and wanders back behind what looks like a solid steel door that screeches when he opens it, and then screeches as it closes. And you wait a good 5-ish minutes before he comes back with 3 small, well, not small, but 3 good-sized bags of gold. And he sets them down, and he has a smaller slip where the ones Kenan gave you were sort of rectangular. These are just squares, and they have a smaller version of the stamp that he had put on the release slips, and it sort of says the name that was written on, your name, Kenan's name, and then the amount of gold's been given you. And then he passes them over, and he sits down. He pulls out a little magnifying glass that sort of clips on to his spectacles, and he says, let's see here. And he picks up the sapphires each in turn and sort of clicks his magnifying glass to get them in focus. And he turns them over and inspects them. He says, one sec. Because I gotta make sure I give you the right amount of money. I think it's 2,000. Do. Do I hear a dog?
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that's actually what I was hearing.
They'll go away whenever whoever's outside comes inside.
133. It's okay. Later you can say hi to the puppers for me.
Say hi to them now. Be a rebel.
Here we go. Yes. Oh, no, there were 1,000 each. Okay,
How much?
cool. 1,000 each.
Okay.
I was about to give you twice that, and I'm like, wait a second.
Damn it.
I learned last time.
Foiled again!
And so he gathers them up in this little wooden tray. And he carries them off to the back, and the door screeches as it opens and screeches as it closes. And he returns. It takes a little while longer this time, because you don't have a release slip. It's literally like he has to get the approval, it seems, to get these exchanged for money. And he comes back a little while later with significantly larger bags of gold from the release slip. And again, he has the little square, but instead of saying paid in order to this person from Captain Kanan and the Royal City Bank or whatever, it says exchange for raw wealth, 1 sapphire worth 1,000 gold, and then there's the stamp. And he pushes the bags towards you. And he settles back down. He sort of takes his time in getting comfortable in his chair before he leans forward again and addresses you and says, "Now, is there anything else I can do for you?"
Got our money. I think that's it.
I think that's all we got for you.
Very well.
Actually, I'd like to open an account. No.
I do not know the politics of opening a bank account in Dungeons and Dragons. Don't do this to me.
Well, now that you've said... No, I'm kidding.
Don't keep challenging me.
I'm not... I'm kidding. Joking.
Keep the giant sack of gold on hand. You're gonna need it
This
as a
is
weapon.
bad
weapon at some
radio,
point.
damn it. Okay, so how much gold was it altogether? 1,700?
So you got 700 gold from slaying the 3 hags, because it was 300 for the original. And then he gave you 2/3 of that each for the other 2 hags' heads. And then it was 1,000 gold for the sapphire, so you now have 1,700 more gold.
God damn. That's a lot of gold.
It is.
Cash money.
And that's why I did not nerf the price of healing potions. Like I thought I was going to have to.
We also have to split it less because we don't have 4 people.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not
Just-
paying Guinevere in anything other than delicious fish.
Pets.
That is not true. We are giving her pets.
And scritches.
Exactly.
That's
And maybe
true.
catnip if you can find it.
Next adventure.
That is definitely petting her. Like right now. As they're walking out. I just want that established.
What, you're gunning for the market to get some catnip? Or are you petting Guinevere?
And she's petting
Petting
her.
Guinevere.
Oh, okay.
It's very good.
And Guinevere just sort of rolls her head to the side to sort of try and get you to scratch the just right spot. As you do that.
This
Good.
guy does. Yes. Sorry, should I roll for it?
No, my parents are making noise and I'm trying to figure out what the hell they're watching. I hope y'all can't hear them.
I cannot,
Just
so
like
you're
I hope.
probably
Okay.
good.
I hope you cannot
Okay.
hear my background noise. I have the TV on. It's like I can hear it.
I'm pretty sure I heard a kid screaming.
all I heard was the dogs.
Well, that's-
Happens a
there should-
lot more often than it should.
There should definitely be no children screaming from my end.
Or mine. The child is not here today.
Yeah, I
Kid
just
is-
have my window down.
Kids scream for no reason. Like, I've literally seen, like, 5th graders walking down the street, and all of a sudden one just screams, and I literally have to go to the door and be like, hey, don't frickin' do that.
I
You're
scream
gonna
thanks to existential dread, but apparently if you do that in public, it counts for no reason. I just
Anyway.
don't understand.
They don't get you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and as you walk out, you head back towards the dock, and Pelinovin's already there, and she has another sheet of paper, a larger one that looks like it's actually a contract. And she says, Captain Kanan says you have to sign this, and we'll bring it back if you finish the job. And she sort of just holds it out to you.
This guy signed it.
Okay.
I sign it
And I
too.
assume the rest of you do.
Yes.
Okay.
I sign it, but poorly, like it's a doctor handwriting.
Doctor
Yeah,
handwriting
wait,
in
hold on,
Dwarvish.
Hold on. I gotta...
It's really just
Yeah,
a squiggle.
Sky signs it in Celestial.
Oh, God.
Well, then I'll sign it in Draconic.
Whoever has to deal with this contract later, because it might not be Kanan, is going to be very confused.
I'll just start rotating
Good.
languages. He knows like 4 languages, so it'll just be.
That's amazing for a mountain hermit.
He gets bored.
This guy's newest side quest is just to learn as many languages as possible.
Takes 250 days and a gold per day.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not like they can't afford it
Exactly.
at this point.
At this
So, I almost called her Pelinel. No, you haven't met Pelinel yet. Pelinovin rolls the scroll up and sort of tucks it underneath her cloak. And she steers you towards the ferry that y'all had taken the previous day that does the little triangle route. And she
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle.
and she urges you to get on the boat with her. And as you sit and travel, she starts to try and explain that for the past couple nights, something has been getting into the temple grounds, and it has caused damage to the garden, and it's caused damage to the walls outside of the chapel proper, in the sort of perimeter wall that they have. And it seems to have appeared at night while everyone was sleeping, but some of the sisters have said that they've heard howling noises.
Okay, I swear to God, if Pelinovin turns out to be a fucking werewolf, I'm suing you. I am suing you for emotional damages. How dare you?
Alright.
She's like, I accept this.
And she says, Mother Superior tasked me with finding people to help discover what has hurt the sacred grounds, because I know a little how to fight, but not enough to do it on my own.
And that's what we're here for.
Yes. And I don't know if y'all want to stop by the floating market before heading on.
I think we could
Is that
go.
where
I'm sorry.
Mika and Hinata are?
Yes.
I got pulled away for a second. Can recap real quick?
Dare you.
Before or after Kim threatened to sue me for emotional damages?
After.
Okay. Basically, Pelenovin said that the Mother Superior had tasked her with finding people to help discover what's been doing damage, because she knows a little bit how to fight, but not enough that she nor the Mother Superior were confident in her facing this entity, whatever it happens to be, alone.
Okay.
And that's where y'all come in. But yeah, the floating market is where Hinata and Yuka are.
Let's go visit them too.
All right. And I assume Pelinovin's just sort of along for the ride with y'all.
Why not?
Yeah, this is a good idea. Nothing could go wrong here.
So you make your way through the floating market back towards the Riverstone Mercantile, which is open. It's a little bit earlier in the day than... No, it's about the same time that you made it last time. And so you open it up, and Hinata's at the desk this time. He hasn't gone off to restock something. And he sees you come in, and he's like, "Hey, you're back! Do you have another panther with you? Or just the one?"
Just the one.
The one for now.
He sort of
I don't know.
leans...
We are in the market.
There's another
He's-
one. We'll pick her up.
He says, "Well, you ain't gonna find another one of those here.
Not with
Unless
that
it's
attitude.
enchanted. Unless it's enchanted. Maybe."
Ooh.
And he leans back and shouts down the stairways to Yuka. It's like, "Yuka! You enchanting any panthers?" And she calls up, "No?" Like, she's very
Oh
confused.
shit, there goes that plan.
She comes up, like, muttering, "Why would you oh." She
Guy
sees
waves.
you. She sees you and she's like, "Ah, that would be why." And she sort of
Hello.
Hey.
hello again.
Hello.
And she walks forward and she sees Pelenovin beyond you, and she's like, "Oh, hello, sister. Are you in need of medicine again today?" And Pelenovin shakes her head, but just doesn't really say anything. She just sort of stands not quite behind you, but she's standing back.
Medicine.
This guy looks back at her and says, "Is everything okay?"
Pelenovin nods her head and she says, "Yes, we will take care of the sick and injured sometimes. But we are well stocked right now. Thank you."
Okay,
It's reasonable.
that makes sense.
And Hinata leans over the counter and sort of reaches to sort of scruff at Guinevere's head and says, "So you looking for anything in particular? Or are you here to pass off more jewels?"
Actually, we did something we did the thing you asked of us.
Yeah, and they paid you for it.
Did they?
Yeah. You did this before, because you went from the Docklands to the merchant district, and they paid you your silver for that. I don't remember how much that was. I think it
We
was
got like
silver.
5 silver pieces.
5 silver pieces each for that. And then y'all went on ahead and took the ferry that went the triangle route between the Temple Island and King's Hand.
Yes.
We just didn't act it out.
Fair enough.
We were going on for a little bit of time, so
We
we were speed running it.
Clipping.
speed running things.
Clipping into parenthood, you could say.
If y'all want to make a perception check, we can see if there's anything new
Wait, actually,
or something.
Sky kind of leans on the counter and goes, "Got any other jobs for us?"
Hinata and Yuka look at each other real quick, and Yuka puts up a finger and sort of makes her way back down the staircase, and you can hear shuffling and sort of tinkering noises from glass things being moved. And she comes back up, and there's it's not a part, it's a larger sort of brown paper wrapped box that's tied with some twine, and it's larger than the parcel that you had before. And she says, "This is going to the proprietor of the Rainbird." I believe that's what I called it. Where'd it go? I swear to fucking God.
It got real quiet. I got
It
real scared.
disappeared.
Sorry, no, I'm still here. I'm just looking for the thing.
When it gets quiet, I'm alone. My thoughts.
There we go.
I'm gonna cast silence.
I don't want to be alone again.
No.
I was alone for so many years.
Rainbird, yes, okay, I was correct. I had to make sure I was telling you the right name.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, I appreciate it, but you know, we were
And
vamping
then I lost
to
it
give
in
you
my-
time.
And then I lost it in my massive, stupid. How many pages is this? 6 pages already.
Oh my.
She says, "This is going to the proprietor of the Rainbird Tea House. If you would be so kind as to deliver it, we will once again pay you 5 silver each."
Yeah, of course.
We'll get it done.
We'll get
Right.
it done. We're gonna take a look around first, and then we'll head on out.
Certainly.
I would also like to ask if you perhaps have any animal collars or anything of the sort.
Hinata and Yuka sort of look at each other as if they're trying to have. They have this like silent conversation, just kind of with their expressions, sort of like a, "Do we have that? No, I don't think so." And Hinata turns and says, "We don't carry anything like that. But if you go down to the edge of this first island here, right next to us, there's a couple of stalls from the gondolas, and one of them sells ribbon. Would that work?"
I'll go take a look in a bit after I look around a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm gonna do the thing.
That was what that roll was for, by the way.
The looking around. Did you add anything to that, or is it just the straight 7?
No, it's a 7.
Just the 7. You don't see anything particularly new. It's this sort of same. The
Fucking show off.
the stand where your cloak was yesterday is still empty. They haven't quite filled that yet. The armor's still there, but there's nothing particularly new that catches your eye.
I got a 23.
So, yes, I noticed. Which means I have to
Like
actually
it's that
open the book
fucking
and.
show off.
Go off.
Which means I have to
Hey,
open
you
the
got
book.
the super
Look with
special
your
item
special
last
eyes.
time. It's Gawain's turn.
You got a
You know
cool
what?
item last time too, even if you didn't get to
It wasn't-
frickin' use it.
The coolest, though.
What did you get last time?
I got the gloves.
That's true. The
The
cloak
gloves of
did
missiles,
save
yeah.
our
You
ass.
had a magic missile cloak. I could catch things, alright?
What? I'm literally agreeing with you. Calm down. Just
Let me
roll
see.
back that
And I
attitude.
will watch,
For the record,
watch me get something
folks,
I can't afford.
folks only rolled a 9, so I probably found nothing interesting either.
Not in particular.
It's okay, next episode.
You're trying. Do 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 do.
Okay, let's go in. What do you see with your lizard eyes?
Okay. Along a shelf, you see a series of finely carved animal figurines. There's a set of goats made out of ivory that are sort of stacked on top of each other. There's a green owl figurine, and there's a sort of marbly stone of an elephant. And Hinata sees you looking at those, and he's like, "Those are figurines of wondrous power."
Tell me more.
What are those?
The first one was the ivory goats, and there's 3 of them. It's always in a set of 3. Mm-hmm. One of them becomes a mount. The other one just turns into a giant goat. And then...
What does the third one do?
Turns into a medium goat. Can talk to ghosts.
The last one also turns into a giant goat, and you can remove its horns and use them as weapons. And then also, it radiates a 30-foot aura of terror.
You cut out, and all I got was 30-foot ray of terror.
Yeah, the final goat is literally called the Goat of Terror. And it will radiate a 30-foot radius aura of terror.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How about this owl here?
The serpentine owl becomes a giant owl for 8 hours. Once it has been used, it can't be used again for 2 days. The owl can telepathically communicate with you at any range, if you're in the same plane of existence.
Okay.
And then
Elefante?
the elephant becomes an elephant for 24 hours and can't be used for 7 days after you do that.
I just get an elephant. That's like it. Is an elephant.
Yeah, you get an elephant, which it basically would
Is it
act
a tame
like,
elephant?
Yeah, it would act. I assume it would act like an animal companion.
Okay.
You just have an elephant now.
It's big. Okay.
It's big.
Well, the most interesting of those are the goats. How much are the goats? Because I imagine they come as a set.
Yes, it's a set of 3. Shiza. Closed my book and lost them. Ready by figurine. So the goats. Let's call that 5,000 gold for the set of 3.
Anyone want to help crowdfund some goats?
Negative.
Alright. That's,
Oh, wait, okay, what? How much was it?
5,000.
5,000.
Jesus.
I don't think we could
That's
afford
a
that
lot.
altogether, actually.
Well,
We could if it was all 3 of
yeah,
us,
because we have
I think?
almost
Yeah,
2,000
no, it
gold.
comes in it's the set of 3. They always come together. And the set is 5,000 gold.
Yeah, so you can't, like, break it up. It's just...
No. You can you use each goat individually,
Mm-hmm.
but the figurine comes together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, yeah, that's a... well, if it's here later and I've struck rich, maybe. Alright. How about
We got 1,700 today.
We did. I just
Yeah.
need to save. Alright, so how about this owl? How much is it?
Crap, I need to stop putting my book away.
2100.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you about all of them. So
The marble elephant and the serpentine owl are also rare. So let's call it the same price.
cool. I can't afford any of them.
No. I've learned from last time.
I'm glad I found this, but it serves me no good.
Not at this point.
Alright.
Well, there is always a plan B. How much do you actually like Hinata and Yuka?
We are not. Okay, no.
This is not
we are
murder.
Not stealing.
No crimes.
Yet.
No
Okay.
crimes against people we like.
Fair. Alright.
I want to be able to come back here and get my money when I've done the job.
People we don't like. This maybe we'll talk about it.
Noted.
Y'all are fun.
Just for quick reference, because I don't know this currency system. How much are platinum pieces worth in gold and silver pieces worth in gold?
10 silver is 1 gold, 10 gold is
10
1
gold is
platinum.
1 platinum. Yep. It's in increments of 10.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah.
Which makes it easier than American money.
I'm still broke ass, so it doesn't matter.
Broke ass bitch.
The metric system of currency.
It's okay. I can go buy Guinevere a beautiful collar or beautiful ribbon.
That's true.
Yes.
I would like to take a different tack other than just walking around and seeing what I can do.
Okay.
Sky would like to ask if there is anything that could be related to Benos or Abital. In the shop.
In the shop. Okay. This is not a shop necessarily for blessed items.
Yeah, but just like stuff in that sort of domain, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of what I figured. But worth a shot.
Yeah. One sec. Let me see if I can finagle something or other.
Silent again.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you go through the book.
No, it's fine. I'm trying to see if something catches my eye that I can finagle into being for Albatal or Bedos.
I mean, I just figured that's Sky's whole thing. So
Yeah.
I should probably play more to that and look for stuff involving that.
Right.
I mean, I guess a cloak that can transport me to the astral plane is pretty fucking close, but
I think that's out of our price range a little bit. If a giant
Yeah.
ass bird is out of our price range, I'm pretty sure that would be as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but
But only because I
Life
know
goals.
better right now.
How much should that cloak been worth if you had charged it appropriately?
It was... Well, let's see. Well, the gloves are uncommon, so that's probably alright.
glad you fucked up though, because it really did save our ass.
Yeah, I'll bet. Robe of Stars is wondrous for item very rare. So if the thingamabobs are 5,000 as rare, I would say should have been probably at least 7,000 gold.
They were having a really off day. They probably just thought it was a plain cloak that did nothing. You just kind of discovered it could do something.
No, because they specifically sold it as the thing that makes
Well,
you go
we're
pew
gonna
pew pew.
retcon this to make it sound better, okay?
Okay. They had
Look,
headaches
they
that day.
They just liked Sky.
I mean, you
That's
said it was
that's
missing. You said it was missing stars when we were looking at it to begin with, so maybe that they just thought it was like, oh, this is a defective robe.
There you go.
Sure, let's go with that.
See, so
It was on clearance.
Crowdfund excuses.
I'm trying to think if there's like anything specific like Wayne would be interested in for himself. The only thing I can think of is like if there's any interesting books, maybe if you looked around.
You were asking for Benos, right?
Yeah, Benos and Avital.
Okay.
Either or.
I found something that might be worth that.
Okay.
Um.
Hit me with your best shot.
Yeah. So in the back behind the counter, there's a display of wands and rods, and Hinata points to one, and it's made of this like almost golden wood that's sort of wrapped around these gems of varying color. And at one end, there's almost like it looks like it's still growing leaves. It has like these beautiful green leaves, but as if it's almost like a miniature tree that you would be holding in your hand.
Oh man.
And he says, this is called a rod of security. And what that does is that while you are holding the rod, you can use an action to activate it, and it transports you and up to 199 other willing creatures that you can see to a paradise that exists on an extraplanar space.
And it's 100,000 gold.
It's very rare, so probably.
Cool.
Or at the very
How
least.
much is it though, like genuinely?
Genuinely,
Yeah.
it'd be, let's see. It also, whichever spent in the paradise, visitor regains hit points. Visitors can remain in the paradise for up to 200 days, divided by the number of creatures present. Yeah, probably like 10,000 gold. It's a thing.
Yeah. No, I figured it was gonna be super expensive, but you
That's
know,
that's a thing.
Sky will remember this.
Sky will remember this.
Sky will remember this and come back when they've robbed the bank.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Heist.
Don't say things you don't mean.
Look, if Folks wants to do a heist, then Folks needs to say so, and Sky will go along with it.
And the DM will cry.
I'm going to be there.
But Sky's not going to suggest
Petting
a
the cat.
heist. No,
He will be there.
Folks gonna ask
Sky
if
is
there's.
also petting the cat.
Folks gonna ask if where's a good place to get like alchemy supplies.
Alchemy supplies?
Yeah.
You can get them here, or, though Hinata looks kind of sour as he mentions it, or there's a sort of apothecary that I have not named, just down the ways, sort of on the way to the Rainbird tea house that you could stop by in. So you can get them here, you can get them there.
Might as well. I'm here already. I might as well get whatever I can here.
Okay. So, what exactly are you looking for?
Just like ingredients for my different alchemical supplies.
So, one sec. I'm trying to figure out what look that would be and to tell me what you would be getting.
God, we were just putting you through your paces today.
You are. How dare you?
That's for us, DM.
Training that page flipping.
This guy wants to go back and open an account.
Oh my god.
I'm almost tempted to ask, does Guinevere notice anything interesting in the story?
You would have to roll a perception check for
And
her.
I do. I have her
roll,
character sheet, the Panther sheet.
Do
Huzzah.
it.
Panther.txt, come on.
And she's got some really high perception.
Okay.
Well,
So
it's also-
alchemist supplies altogether are going to be normally they'd be 50 gold pieces, but we'll call it 45 because they don't want you going to the other place.
She rolled a
Well,
17.
goddamn.
Right.
Oh my god.
It's +6.
The fucking panther can look better. And Sky
If
is
she's-
horrible.
And if she smells it, she has advantage on it.
Do. Grab the other book again.
I'm sorry, just a little bit.
It's gonna give them 4 platinum and 5 gold.
She's gonna kill our characters.
Okay.
Like,
Alright, you hand
whatever we
over...
have to fight is gonna be level 20. And it's gonna one-shot all
Hey
of
guys,
us.
you gotta fight a dragon now?
Damn it.
Sorry, I'm now 5 dragons.
So yeah, you hand over
I roll
your
to ride a dragon.
4 platinum, 5 gold, and you get your alchemist supplies. Okay. So there's a small pouch sitting at a medium shelf height, and Guinevere goes over and sort of nudges at it with her nose, and a little bit of the powder was on the outside of the bag, and it gets in her nose, and she starts sneezing.
Sky runs over to make sure she's okay.
And she found a small container of dust of sneezing and choking.
Alright, baby, what have you done now? Wipes off her nose a little bit with his shirt. We talked about this.
Sure you did. In the 24 hours you have known this cat.
We bonded a
Look,
lot.
it was
in our
off
sleep.
screen.
What
She is
what did you
perfectly
train
trained
this
now.
thing to do?
She is perfectly trained now.
What did you train her to do?
Commit murder.
She's trained enough. So a powder of what? Sneezing and something?
Sneezing and choking.
Dust of sneezing and choking.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So pocket sand.
A little
Honestly,
stronger than
kind
that.
of. A little stronger.
Pocket
How much
murder
is it?
sand.
Of course you'd ask me how much it is.
Well,
Uh,
I don't know. That seems like it might be useful.
Found the small container. This powder resembles very fine sand, so yes, pocket sand.
God.
When you use an action to throw a handful of dust into the air, you and each creature that needs to breathe within 30 feet of you must succeed a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or become unable to breathe. While sneezing uncontrollably, the creature affected in this way is incapacitated and suffocating. As long as it is conscious, a creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns, ending the effect on a success. Lesser restoration spell can also end the effect on the creature. It is uncommon.
Sounds handy.
Yeah, this
So
guy's
we'll-
just like, hey folks, this seems like your kind of thing.
We'll call that uncommon. And I said rare was what, 5,000?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is also a one-use item.
Is it a one-use item?
I think.
Depends on how much is a handful.
It's also a small container.
There's enough of it for one use. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll call it. We'll call it the same as a healing potion. We'll call it 50 gold.
Shit, yeah, Sky will pay that and give it to folks.
Sweet.
Cool.
Guinevere looks
so you
at
head
you
go-
like she's expecting something.
No, honey, this isn't for you.
Clearly.
Oh man,
It's a bad
she
idea.
wants some gratitude for finding the cool shit. Where's my scritches?
The cool
Sky
shit
gives
that
her
y'all can
scritches.
afford.
Folk give chin scritches.
Y'all dumb 2 legs looking at this shit's too
Sky gives her
expensive. I'm here
so
for
many
you.
scritches. So many.
Pelanovin's not entirely sure why you're petting the cat, but she reaches over and sort of does the pat sort of thing to it.
God.
It's good for the soul, trust me.
So you paid the 50 gold, and you now have a dust of sneezing and
Joking.
Choking.
choking. Thank you. I was trying. I almost called it dust of sneezing and suffocation. I was like, wait, no, that's not right.
Kind of close.
Close, but not. No cigar.
I don't speak for everyone, but I am done in here now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
I
all
would like
good.
to. No.
We've got a package to deliver.
Yep.
I got a pretty ribbon to buy.
Yep.
Yep. We
And we
should
ha-
probably split up for those.
You just really want to split us up, don't you?
Oh my god.
Look,
One.
it just goes by faster.
You
No,
may,
it doesn't, because I have to do each of you in turn.
It's fine. Yeah,
you may
but
split
like, in
up
character.
once.
Somehow I'll trip and die by myself.
Trip and fall off the walkway
And then
into the
Guinevere will eat me
lagoon and
because
just
she's a
sink.
cat. She doesn't care.
Look, I gave you your healing potions earlier, so you should all be fine.
She steals them. Runs away. I die.
Oh my
Guinevere,
God.
please. This is not how we raised you.
We talked about
Alright.
this.
Alright, say you want to split up. Who wants to do what then?
Sky will go ahead and deliver the package.
I would like to go shopping some more.
Folks will
Shopping
wait at,
episode.
folks will wait at the dock for.
Doing a full
Like-
party split.
Like a grumpy dad in an icing shop. Or Claire's. Just sits at the entrance.
If you want me to do the quest on my own, I'll do it.
No, it's fine.
Alright, go get yourself killed. Really hurt my feelings.
Okay, real important question. Who is
Okay.
Pelanoven going with?
You're the one who's talked to her, so probably you.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Because otherwise, she's not spoken to Gawain, and she's not really spoken to folks. And I can just imagine that if she went with folks, it'd just be the two of them standing there awkwardly, not talking.
Nice.
Nice. Alright, who wants to go first?
I have one short thing to mention.
Sure.
I'm going to cast Dark Vision on myself so that, and then take a short rest while everyone is doing their thing, so that when they get here, I will be able to see in the dark and have my key points ready.
Okay, how long does Dark Vision last?
8 hours.
Oh, cool. It's like noon, though.
You don't know what'll happen.
It gets dark early sometimes. It's winter, right?
No, it's more like late spring.
Folks is doing his best out here, okay?
Folks also can just cast darkness.
Okay.
I'm setting up for that
Oh,
later.
Lord.
Okay.
There you go.
I said I can, not that I'm going, not that I'm doing that right
Well,
now.
you have to now. You've said it.
Not right now.
I mean, now that you've set it up,
Oh my goodness.
look, it's a basic literary technique, alright?
Jesus Christ. I keep checking my Audacity to make sure it's recording me, because now I'm paranoid.
God.
Mine's still recording
That's just
too.
how life is.
That's how it is
Yeah.
on this bitch of an earth.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
That's how it is on this bitch of a Benos.
I don't think it'd be like it is, but it do.
Alright.
So, Folks is gone and is just waiting at the dock. Let's go with Jay, because that'll probably be faster.
Oh boy.
That's what ye think. Because I
Gawain
want to
is
go
a
find.
very picky dad.
Want to go find this ribbon person.
Okay.
Also curious if maybe like there's a weapon shop nearby, but if not, that's okay.
Probably.
Okay. He just wants like some arrows or something.
Okay. So you exit from the Riverstone Mercantile, and you turn towards the edge of the island that you're on. And there's a couple of different docks where people have parked their boats. And you sort of wander down until you see an older gentleman who's sitting on a gondola, and he's got a couple of different spools of cloth and different colored wool strings. And there's a small rack with several really well-made sort of silk ribbons in various different colors, just sort of hanging from there, that he'll cut to the length that you need for him. So you can approach this gentleman, and he looks up at you, and he says, "Well, hello. What can I do for you?"
Hello, I'd like to get a ribbon for my pretty little girl here, so we don't.
And he sort of jumps a little when he sees, when he finally notices Guinevere, but he doesn't say anything about it. He's like, "Well, all right," and he sort of takes the rack and he sort of pulls it in front of himself, and he has various different shades of blue and blue-green. There's a sort of lavender color, and there's a darker royal purple. There's a black one, there's a white one. There's sort of a minty green color, and then a darker forest green, and then there's a dark sort of brick red, and a soft pink, and a bright sunshiny yellow. He's like, "Take your pick."
Alright, Guinea, what color speaks to you? This is for you. This isn't for me.
Great. I guess that's my decision then.
We can roll for it. The prettiest
Yeah,
color.
that's what I'm
Is
doing.
there any... Oh, you're gonna roll for it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm rolling for it. She sort of scans over, and you have to understand, Panther, not the greatest color vision. But she ends up sort of stopping on that minty green color. And she sort of like leans forward and nudges at her with her nose.
Alright, she's spoken. This is the color that speaks to her.
And the man nods, and he sort of unhooks the bar, because they sort of click into place, almost like a toilet paper roll holder.
Classy. Nice.
I mean, that's the only comparison I can think of. And sort of he unclicks it, and he pulls out the other ribbons and sort of to get at the minty green color, and then puts them back and clicks them back in. And he pulls out the ribbon and sort of loops it around Guinea's neck, and he gives it a little bit of extra gives, just sort of like it's not too tight around her neck, but not enough that it's probably going to get caught on anything. And then he sort of leaves a bit hanging so you can like tie it in a bow or something if you'd like. And he pulls these scissors up from around his neck and he snips it, and he sort of loops it around his hand and hands it to you, and he says, "That'll be a silver."
Alright, give him the money.
Okay.
I'm gonna tie the prettiest fucking bow. She is goddamn gorgeous.
She is the prettiest of pretty kitties.
Yes.
She's like Marie from Aristocats.
Yes. That is spot on.
Only
She's
like
going to be the belle of the ball.
only like the opposite color scheme.
She's working it.
Okay.
Flaunt it.
And so
Flaunt it.
and she seems pleased with herself. She sort of sits up a little straighter and has her head held up high. And she purrs a little.
What a good girl.
She's too good for us, honestly.
Yeah.
I assume after that you're gonna make your way back to the dock as well.
Well, I'd like to ask the guy if
Oh,
there's
the
someplace I can...
weapon shop.
Yeah. Or ammunition supplies, really.
Ammunition supplies. You wander about a bit. It's actually not one of the gondolas, but a sort of set up stand. It's not like a proper brick and mortar store. But there's a small stand with a cloth cover above it that's selling bowstrings and arrows with brightly fletched feathers. And you can probably get a handful of arrows.
Yeah, I was wondering how much a quiver can hold. If there's a standard number for that.
20 billion. They're very spacious.
It's hammer space in there.
Magic quivers.
Yeah.
Those do exist.
There's spells for that, too.
Well, it depends. Yeah. Okay, see, if you have the big quiver, you can only hold 20. If you get the bigger quiver, then you can hold 50, and the biggest quiver can hold 99.
Thank you.
That's what I learned from Zelda.
That's what we learned from Zelda, yes, you're right.
A quiver can hold up 20 arrows.
20 arrows? Yeah. So we'll go with that. And you've used...
I've tried to keep up with it. I need 7 to fill it back up.
7 to fill it back up?
Yeah.
Lucky number.
Are there any special arrows you can pick up, or just regular ones?
Just regular ones
Okay.
at this stall. If you were looking for like magic arrows, you'd probably have to go back to the Riverstone Mercantile.
I will not
and those
put
would
us
be
all through
expensive.
that.
Say that again?
I said I'm not going to put y'all through that, so we're just going to buy these.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one that'll put us through whatever.
Clearly.
It's okay, just wait till the late podcast plot twist that Sky was actually an android the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, we're bringing
Sorry to
Warforged
spoil
in.
it, everyone.
We're bringing Warforged in. Perfect. This is now
Christ.
Eberron campaign setting. I'm met with complete and utter silence on that one. Thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
I have no idea what's going on, and I didn't know if
Yeah.
Megan said something or not, so I was just kind of waiting.
No. I'm looking to see how much a frickin' arrow is.
See, that's,
Because it
20
tells me how
arrows
much
is one. 20 arrows is one
that's
gold.
what I was
so
thinking. It was
Okay.
like you buy them in bundles, so I could just buy the bundle and...
Yeah, just go ahead and buy the 20 for the gold then, I guess. Because otherwise I'm not entirely sure how that math would add up.
Cool.
Because it... Well, no, wait. Yeah, I do. Because if it's 10 copper to a silver, and 10 silver to a gold.
1 silver to 1 gold would be 1 silver per 2 arrows.
Yeah,
It's still
That's 5 copper per arrow.
5 copper per arrow. There we go.
Yeah.
So it would be 35 copper to fill you back up.
I don't have any
No.
copper.
Yeah, 35.
Well, I don't have copper unless he can make change for me.
Probably.
So that would translate to how many silver?
Okay, so if it's
Math!
4 silver. 4 silver and you would get 5 copper back.
Cool.
there we go.
I think
Thank
I
you.
think I have exactly 4 silver, so okay. So,
Nice.
so I lose my 4 silver and
Nice,
get 5
nice,
copper.
nice.
And you get 5 copper.
Nice, nice.
Alright, I got this.
You got this.
We got this. Eventually, we've got this.
Alright.
What were we thinking playing a game that was so much math?
I think Gawain's side
We
quest is
liked the
done.
improv.
I was gonna say, I'm here purely for the storytelling.
I like the math.
I'm glad one of us does.
I'm here to make jokes and be an idiot, and I'm all out of jokes.
I'm all out of idiot.
One sec, I'm writing that down
I'm here for
as a
cats.
title. Make jokes and be an idiot. All out of jokes. Let's see if I remember what that is. Come time to upload. Probably not knowing me. So you've got your pretty kitty with her pretty ribbon,
Yes.
and you've got your arrows.
Yes.
Anything else you were wanting to do?
That's all I got in me.
Alright, so you'll head over to the dock to stand and probably
To join
awkwardly.
this awkward party.
join the awkward party. One sec.
I mean, I can try
That's
to
another
make
good one.
conversation if I want to do that.
Well, you can try,
Gwen and
but
folks have an in-depth conversation.
in-depth
on
conversation.
the
Off-screen.
socio-economic climate.
Our conversation
Off-screen.
is literally just
It's actually
cookies.
very insightful. Roll for insight.
Roll for insight. Switching gears to Pelanavin and Sky. And so
Oh shit, that's me.
you make your way through the floating markets. Am I calling it the right damn thing? Yeah, floating market. So scared I'm gonna screw up. And you ask a few people along the way to sort of point you in the direction. And eventually you make it to this tall, fairly wide 3-story building that's painted in sort of a pastel-y color. And it looks very well maintained. Like the moisture hasn't like peeled the plaster off or anything compared to like some of the other less well kept brick and mortar buildings. And along the side, right next to one of the windows, is a tree who's sort of bent over, so it sort of frames the window. And the leaves of the tree are actually painted to be raindrops. And there's a small blue bird with this giant fan of feathers sitting in the tree painting. And as you walk in, there's a couple of young women, all in very fine dresses with sort of aprons tied around their waists, carrying trays of cake towers with like cookies and small bite-sized cakes and these tiny, really dainty-looking sandwiches. And others have teapots they're carrying around with a towel underneath them. And others are taking away dirty teacups. in one of them, a young dwarven woman comes up and she says, "Yes, yes, welcome to the Rainbird Treehouse. Treehouse. Wow, hold on. Tea house."
Treehouse, tea house.
Hi,
because I was talking
I've
about
got a package for someone here. It's from Yuka and Hinata.
the young dwarven woman kind of does this little like almost a curtsy hop sort of thing, and she says, "Oh yes, I will go get the madame. Just one moment." And she scurries off with
Guy
her.
kind of pulls their robe tighter around them,
Oh,
feeling very out of place.
oh, and she scurries off towards the back, and out from the back room comes this tall elven woman with this pale silvery blonde hair that's curled and coiffed and pulled up in this sort of half up half down shenaniganery, and she has these stormy gray eyes, and she almost glides across the floor. Her posture is impeccable, but she's smiling kindly at you, and she sort of opens her arms in greeting, and she says, "Welcome, my dears. I've heard you have a package for me."
Yeah, I do. If you could sign here, and Sky pulls out a piece of parchment and a quill.
"Certainly, dear." And she takes the parchment and quill, and there's a sort of like hostess stand right next to you. And by hostess stand, I mean it's really just like a tall desk. And she leans, she's very tall. It's like only up to like just under her boobs, I guess. where most people it would be like shoulder height. And she sort of leans over and writes her name in this curly Q fancy script that you barely can read, honestly. It's like those crazy fonts on Word that no one uses. They're just sort of there.
Oh yeah, one of those.
One of those. One of those. Like, you don't use it because you can't read it. It's like it's super cursive.
I like to think she wrote it in wingdings.
Nah.
Cursive wingding.
Gaster, is that you? I can feel the shadows growing. Darker, darker, yet darker. Okay, I'm done.
She hands the slip back to you with these dainty hands that look like she hasn't really worked a day in her life. Or if she has, it's been a long while. And she sort of hands over the slip and she just holds her hands out expectantly for the
Yes,
package.
Sky hands over the package.
And she sort of dips her head and she says, "Thank you, my dears. I do hope you will come back to my tea house for something other than business soon." And she
Of course, have a wonderful day.
and she nods again, she turns and she glides back towards the back room.
Sky very quickly walks out of there.
Pelanavin like pauses for a moment, like not realizing you had left quite as quickly, and once she realizes, she turns and runs
Sky
after
kind
you.
of looks over their shoulder like, "Come on, we're going now."
And she just nods kind of emphatically and rushes after you. And she
Oh, jeez, I have not felt that out of place in a while.
she sort of leans over towards you and she's like, "Are you all right? You seemed like I feel most days."
You cut out a bit there, I'm sorry.
Oh, she said she was concerned because you looked like how she felt most days, which is, out of place.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just I don't do well in places like that.
And she sort of looks over her shoulder and she leans a little closer and whispers, I don't either.
Too fancy for my tastes.
It's nice to look at, though.
It is. It's
I
a
like
very
the
pretty
painting.
building. And that painting was interesting.
I think it was of the rainbird that it's named after. You don't see those very often in the spring. They come in the fall, when it rains. That's where they get their name, I think.
I suppose that would make sense. We should probably get back to the others now, huh?
Yes, that would probably be a good idea. The
Okay.
Mother Superior's probably wondering where I've gone.
Best not keep her waiting. And they go back.
No. Okay. Hey, that was actually close to being in sync that time.
Nice.
We're getting better.
Okay.
We're
So
working
it's
on it.
I'd say we're having
We're trying.
character development.
we're doing the best. So it's later in the afternoon now, as you get back on to the ferry to head over towards Temple Island. And when you arrive, there's a matronly-looking woman standing outside, and she's looking a little bit concerned. She's got her gray hair tied back into this tight braid at the base of her at her skull, and she's wearing the silvery white robes that you see most of the alcoholites and priests and priestesses of Laiha wearing. And she looks over towards you to see Pelanavan walking towards you, and she sort of rushes over and sort of not quite scoops Pelanavan up into her arms, but she sort of grasps her at the arms and she says, "Oh, thank goodness, you had been gone so long. I didn't think it would take you that long. Are you all right?" And Pelanavan nods, and she says, "Yes, Mother Superior, I have found friends to help us." And the Mother
I wave.
the Mother Superior turns to you, and she sort of clasps her hands over her heart and sighs this breath of relief, and she says, "Oh, thank goodness. We've been having so many terrible things happening. We just don't know what to do anymore." And she reaches out and sort of brushes at Pelanavan's hair. She's like, "Pelanavan does her best, but I just didn't think this was something for her alone to do. That's why I had sent for adventurers or guards." And she looks over you and she's like, "Thank you." And she
We're happy to help however we can.
and she nods and she says, "Here, let us show you." And she sort of ushers you towards the chapel, which is it's a long building made of white stone, and there's a glass dome on top to let the sunlight and moonlight in. And as you enter, it seems that that dome is most of their light. There's a couple of torches in the corner to just sort of vaguely light up the place, but it's meant to be kept darker. There's a rounded pulpit in the middle, and along the two aisles that are facing towards each other, along the width of the building, there's a couple of different pews and there's a few civilians praying or just sort of sitting in the peace. There's a few acolytes walking back and forth. Some of them are in darker robes, and you can see there's a door at the back of the building, and there's also a door to the right. And the Mother Superior leads you out the door to the right, and you see what was a lovely, well-tended garden of flowers and sort of a shrubbery, and there's a couple of very nice willow trees. A lot of it is burnt, and there's the smell of smoke still sort of lingering in the air. Flower beds are dug up. These sort of cobblestone pebble paths are torn up as well, with deep sort of claw-marked gouges. And there's scorch marks along the inside of this perimeter wall that sort of encases the garden. And behind the chapel proper, there's it looks kind of like a motel building. It's a sort of a long building. Well, not terribly long. There's 4 doors on top. And there's 4 doors on the bottom, and each of them has a little window beside it. And you see an acolyte come out of one, and it seems that that's where the people who man the temple stay overnight. That's sort of their dormitory. And you can see there's scorch marks across the stones there too, as if something had been breathing fire almost, or like the touch of it had been hot. And the Mother Superior says, "Some of the girls have been hearing howling at night, and it always comes just after sundown, after the curfew for the girls. And I don't know what it is, but it is something terrible that does not belong in a holy place." And she turns and she says, "Pelinoven will be your guide for the night. She will show you where are places you can hide and observe for it. And I do pray that you are successful."
Don't worry, we will be.
And she sort of gives a nod of thanks. And she reaches out and sort of pets at Pelinoven's hair once more. And then she leaves with a look of concern still on her face. And right now, it's not quite sundown. It's later in the afternoon. The sun is currently making its way towards the horizon. So it's a couple of hours wait if there's anything y'all want to do to prepare. Pelinoven sort of shows you to her room, which is pretty bare. There's just the one bed, and there's a desk sort of sitting against the footboard, and there's a small sort of pillow on the ground next to the bed that's facing a stained glass window that again has the symbol of Laiha in it in the clear glass. But there's also a spear leaning against the corner, and there's a armor stand with some scale mail armor just sort of draped over it. And the armor itself is a very dark color, similar to the dark robes that you had seen on some of the other acolytes, who seemed a little bit older and a little bit rougher than some of the others. So is there anything you were wanting to do to prepare? I don't know if there's anything y'all can do to prepare.
I do know Sky wants to test something.
Okay.
Sky wants to test the ability of their cloak or robe.
Okay.
One of those.
The
to go
robe.
into the astral plane.
Okay. Let me see how exactly that works for you.
Just to sort of get a feel for like
Yes.
what that is like.
Okay. Okay. Robe of Stars. While you wear the robe, you can use an action to enter the astral plane along with everything you are wearing and carrying. You remain there until you use an action to return. You reappear in the last space you occupied. Or if that space is occupied, the next nearest space. Does not say if there is a limit to how many times you can do that a day. So you concentrate on the robe, and you sort of pull it tighter around you. And as you're focusing on the twinkling patterns of stars, you feel yourself being pulled away. And you find yourself in sort of an empty sort of room. It looks similar to the room you were in proportion, but there's not really anything there. You can sort of vaguely make out shadows of where your companions are, and you see where Pella Navin had been putting on her scale mail. You see that shadow sort of dart back and forth as if she was looking for where you had gone.
Okay. Sky goes back.
Okay.
Guess. That was just a test.
Okay. You reappear in the room where you had been before, and you see Pella Navin sort of kind of half rush towards you and then stop short. She's like, "What was that?"
It was the robe I've got. It lets me go into the astral plane.
She stares at it and she sort of reaches out and touches and tugs it and looks at it, and she says, "That's amazing."
It is pretty cool, huh?
Both whispers under their breath. Fucking bargain is what it was.
Shush.
I demand
I'm
a nerf
learning.
on Sky.
No, nerfs are bad. We want buffs.
I'm kidding. This is not
Sky is
balanced.
swole.
Apparently, she's
Could
after
be
she's
useful if we wanted to lay a trap of some kind.
yeah, I guess it could.
I
So-
have a hunting
This guy's
trap.
no slouch.
I also have a hunting trap too. I don't know if that would work for this.
What, just sort of lay the cloak over a hole and then, or are you talking about something else?
Oh.
Pella Navin returns to putting on her scale mail, and she picks up a small shield and slips it on her arm. And she says, "What sort of trap did you mean?"
Sorry, cut out again.
What sort of trap did you mean?
I could take whatever it is by surprise. I mean, I can, like, sort of vaguely see where you all are when I'm there. You come through as shadows. It's odd. But I would assume that any new creature that we face would also come through as a shadow. So if I could use that to get the drop on it? that might be helpful.
Yes, maybe it would. She sort of takes her spear off the wall and sort of turns it in her hand like she's fiddling with it. If you want to, we could. And she sort of waves at Gawain and folks. We could hide behind the dormitories, and you could be out more in the garden, and you would probably see it first then. And she
Okay,
sort of
again.
You were cutting out a lot for that one. I couldn't-
sorry. Well, it looks like I'm
it's
still
not your fault. It's Discord's fault.
at least I'm still recording this time. She says
That's
that
good.
she was saying that Gawain and folks and her could hide behind the dormitory building, and you could be more out in the garden. But since you would be in the astral plane, it wouldn't be in the garden, so it wouldn't see you first.
Mm-hmm.
And she points out her front window to where you see the majority of the path and the flower bed sort of torn up and stuff. And she looks kind of sad at it. And she says, "That is where, supposedly, it appeared last time." Please tell me that didn't cut out.
A little bit.
Just a little.
A little bit. I'm sorry.
It might be the voice I'm doing. It might not
It
be picking
might
me
be.
up.
Yeah, I
It
don't.
might not
But-
just be picking it up.
Your input sensitivity is probably too
But your mic
low.
is picking it up,
That's really
which
weird.
is the thing.
Yeah.
Well, Discord has its own input
That's
sensitivity.
true, it does.
Yeah, it's got its own weirdness. She was saying, she was pointing to where most of the stuff had been torn up, and she was saying that that's supposedly where people were thinking it appeared the first few times.
Okay, then we should do that, I guess? That seems like a good idea.
Okay.
Alright.
Time to get
So,
the binder out with them.
guess we all
Diagrams.
do that, like, immediately.
You could go out there immediately and start, setting your traps and whatever. But it'll still be a little while yet before.
Yeah, I just
Before
don't know
the
that
time.
we have anything else in particular to do,
Okay.
necessarily.
Well, I can't really set up what I'm planning on because I have to do that close to when it actually arrives.
Yeah. Okay.
Because minor illusion only lasts a minute,
Okay.
and
Um,
Seduct
Okay,
Trace
then yeah,
lasts
we
an hour.
we just kind of wait around
yeah.
for a while.
Sort of preparing, psyching yourself up.
We can
But-
do this. We can do this.
I don't know if I answered my question earlier. I didn't really know
what
what a hunting trap can be used for. Like,
Um,
what kind of things it does. Like, I don't know how it works.
Me neither. Let me see if I can find.
Because, I mean, if
Out.
it's a howly thing, it probably walks on the ground, I assume.
Yeah, that's a decent deduction.
Seems like a fairly safe assumption.
Yeah. Healer's kit. Infantry gear.
Creature that steps on the plate must succeed on a DC 13 Dexterity saving throw, or take 1d4 piercing and stop moving.
For the turn.
Well, it has to break
Uh,
free.
Until the creature breaks free of the trap, its
Until the
movement is
creature's
limited by the length of the chain, typically 3 feet
I
long.
want to break free.
Okay.
Sounds
um,
useful to me.
Okay.
Breaking free is a DC 13 strength check and takes an action.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, do that and go ahead and give me a survival check to see how well you hide it.
Okay. Just gonna look at my numbers.
Numeros.
Okay, I'm apparently good at surviving. Let's see what the die has to say about that.
Please, base star in Jesus.
Cool.
Nope.
7.
Yikes.
You do as well as you can with stuff being as torn up as it is. A lot of the sort of plant matter has been removed from the area to sort of clean up a little bit. You got it about half covered, maybe. There's still a little bit of the.
Oh, I have a stupid idea.
Oh God.
Can Sky like stand? Get just like above it without setting it off or something?
Can you levitate? Well,
Not like directly above it, but like when it's gonna show up.
do you want to be
'Cause
like
Sky
straddling
yes, I want
it?
Sky to be the bait.
Oh
Excellent.
God.
No, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, but it's funny.
No fun allowed, says Smart.
We'll see how
No
fun you think it
suicidal
is,
fun,
depending on
come
what
on.
your initiative rolls are.
I mean, suicidal fun sounds like what Kim's all about.
Good lord.
I mean, maybe.
So are you going to be standing like basically next to it, or sort of straddling it? I guess you've got one of those.
Yeah, like next to it. Just
Okay.
I want to get it to like step over it and set it off.
Okay.
Because I can just fucking disappear.
You can,
And then it's
as
stuck
an
there.
Work.
as an action, at least you can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sure, let's say you do that then. And then the rest of you are sort of... Are you going to be tucked behind the dormitory? Like Pelinovan thought we were going to be?
I wait in a sneaky place, wherever the sneakiest place is.
Well,
Physically.
there's honestly a couple of different places you could do it. So it was out the side door where supposedly the thing appeared. So you can either hide around the corner of the main chapel building, or you can hide behind the dormitories, or if you want to, you could try and climb the willow tree.
I would love to try to climb the tree, actually.
Okay,
I'm ready to
So
fail
there's-
at this, too.
roll a dex check for me.
And,
Would that be
Also-
acrobatics?
Botch.
I mean, I'd rather it be Dex, but...
Yeah. Acrobatics is dex, is it not?
Yes, it is.
It's athletics, that's strength.
Yeah, athletics, strength, acrobatics, is dex.
I mean, it's all the same number. It's here.
Roll the dice and see what happens. See where they may fall. Persona 5 jokes.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
I
Yeah,
climb it real good.
you climb it real good. You
Like a
you
spider
managed
monkey.
What a good climb, boy.
you managed to get yourself up into the tree pretty well. You sort of tuck yourself between a couple of different branches, and the
I guess Guinevere
Trunk.
can hide up there
Guinevere
with
would
me.
have to make her own check to get up there.
Well, she climbed good. Climbing is part of her movement.
Oh well, there we go.
She can.
That doesn't need a check.
Yeah, she can climb 40 feet.
40 feet? Okay. We'll say she's settled up on a branch just sort of right at head level with you, and she's sort of doing... Looks like she's trying to make biscuits in the bark.
Aw.
She's so good.
You're welcome.
Guinevere truly is the best of us.
She's the best character. I stan her.
And so where is Folks gonna be then?
Hiding around that corner you mentioned earlier.
Okay. And then Pelinovan will be right there with you then.
Yay for making things overly complex.
I love it. I'm ready to just make this thing not know what it woke up to today.
Okay.
Sky doesn't even know what they woke up to today.
This is fair. All right. So you wait, and this time it takes a little bit after sundown. The moon is a waning crescent, so there's not a whole heck of a lot of light. But as the bell for the chapel tolls the hour, you see where the scorch marks and the kicked up earth are at their worst. You see a faint glow of this eerie red light in a sort of circular formation. And there is a plume of dark smoke that starts rising. And you hear a deep, gritty howling noise. And as the smoke clears, one black paw, two black paws, a long muzzle with sharp teeth, and a creature, canine in nature, dark black with deep, glowing red eyes, steps forth from the plume of smoke. And I need everyone to roll initiative, please. So I get to roll initiative for this thing. That's earned.
This is my 50th time asking this. What is added to that?
Just
Dexterity.
Dex bonus, yeah. So
Yeah,
what
I got
is
a
this?
14.
14, okay.
No shit.
Oh, nice.
I got a 19.
I got a 19 too.
Nice.
That
That means you actually get to go first, I believe, because you have the higher bonus.
Is that how that works? I have no idea, honestly.
I feel like that sounds right. I've listened to a lot of
It's like,
D&D
I have the higher
casts.
bonus, but you have the higher die roll, so...
Higher bonus usually takes precedence.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then...
I
Shiza. Just flew right out of my
Wow.
hand. How dare you? Come back here. Get...
gotta get these good rolls out
Our
now
lone
so I
German
can
listener is very offended.
fall out of the tree and break my neck.
Okay, that's...
Say what you want. I haven't rolled. This was my best roll all night.
Okay.
And it's not great.
So we've got, in the order, we've got Jay, then Sky, then Folks, then Pella, and then the creature.
Cool.
Alright. So Jay, if you want to go ahead and make your move.
So
You
it
do
is-
have, we'll call it 3/4 cover where you are from the branches and such.
Okay, so what does that mean? I don't actually understand what that means.
That means I think it has disadvantage against attacking you with ranged attacks. Not that I don't think this thing has
I'm
one.
really curious about this dog that's got ranged attacks.
Oh, it does have a ranged
Cool.
weapon.
Does it spit at me or something?
Well, it
Breathe
could.
fire?
Considering the scorch marks, that's a pretty good assumption to make.
I mean, that's, if you want to be smart, sure. So
I
it's
don't-
just rolled up. It's not, nothing's happened. It's just here.
No, it's starting to make its way out of the plume, and it.
I would assume towards Sky.
It does see you, yes.
Also, as soon as I saw like the paw in the first place, I'm gonna activate the dagger of venom.
Daggervin? Okay.
Let's see. What are my options here?
Don't attack it yet.
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
have a plan.
Like, what else? What other actions do I have besides attacking it?
What sort of spells do you have?
Sure I could do that. Oh, that would be funny, but I don't know if I'll do that. Because I have animal friendship. Trying to befriend.
I mean, you could. One sec.
Okay, actually, I could cast Hunter's Mark on it.
You can do that.
It's just a
Is
bonus
that
action, so I
just a
could
bonus action?
do something else if I wanted to, but...
Yeah.
You could hold an action.
You
I
could hold an
believe.
action until certain criteria. So either it gets too close to someone, or it attacks someone somehow, or it's gets caught in your thingamajigger.
Let me read what Hunter's Mark does again. Choose a
Okay.
creature till the spell ends. Okay. So I'm okay with just marking this and just, I don't know, sitting it out
Okay.
till something happens.
All right. So you're gonna hold your action until what in particular?
I guess till the trap triggers.
Okay, we can do that. Then it's Sky's turn.
Yes, Sky's gonna cast Magic Missile.
Okay.
Fuck him up!
Gotta draw its attention.
Okay. Okay.
Let me find... Yeah, okay. That is just damage.
Okay.
So,
Do I have to roll a dex save or anything?
Nope.
nope.
Nope, just straight damage. All right, cool.
18 damage.
18 damage. Hot diggity crap. Moving all sorts of things because I've got too much stuff and not enough room on my
You got
desk.
2 4s and a 3 in that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Fuck it up.
Whoop, whoop.
Now I just have to really hope that Sky can take one hit. Because it was either this or just hold an action
You
to
really should just hold a potion in
disappear.
your mouth while you do this.
just sit there with your mouth all bubbled up and just sort of just wait to swallow it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it was either this or hold an action to disappear once it engages the trap. And I figured this was a better idea.
well, it's certainly not looking
Question
great.
mark?
It's certainly not looking great right now. It was looking fine up until a moment ago, and then you blasted it, and now it's not pleased either. It sort of growls at you after it's done whimpering.
Come at me, motherfucker.
And it is now Folks' turn.
How far away is this thing?
So it just appeared.
Yeah, I was curious where the tree was also in relation to this.
One sec. I marked all this crap down because I have a diagram. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, the tree is about 50 feet away from it, and then Folks is...
50.
I'm not at the tree, though.
Well,
No,
sorry.
I know, but Jay wanted to know how
I
far the tree
being
was away
rude
from
and
it.
asserting myself. Is it 50 feet, like, above or away?
No, it's 50 feet across the yard away from it, and then you're
Okay.
like 30 feet up in it, I guess. Maybe
so
20.
So it's a really short tree, okay.
It's a short tree. It's not a... It's kind of confined in this area. And then
Okay.
Folks, it is 20 feet away from you.
Oh, perfect.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna throw the dagger at him.
Okay.
He's within range.
Okay.
Then do it.
Roll an attack for me then.
Oh, thank God. That is 17 plus 5.
That hits.
I believe plus 5, actually. I'm sorry, plus 6 either way.
Mm-hmm.
He has to make a Constitution save.
Constitution save. Nah, that's a 4.
Good. So, it's poisoned.
Okay.
And it takes... Where the hell are my D10? There we are. The dagger itself, it takes 4 plus... Okay, it takes 8 damage.
8 damage.
And the poison, 10.
Okay, so 18
Shit.
again.
18 and it's poisoned.
Okay.
Boy, I sure hope
God.
there's some dog left for me.
You held your action.
I don't think there's
I
gonna
was
be.
told not to hurt it yet, because this guy wanted to go after
Well,
her.
because I thought this was gonna be a bigger thing.
No, because I toned it back because y'all bitched at me last time.
I did not bitch. I just want to
Bitch.
put that out there. I enjoyed it.
Pretty sure she said false bitched at her last time.
I said y'all.
Oh.
W, comma, A-L-L. To be fair, that was a little much.
It's okay. I
But I
speak Southern. I
Eldiv. Ain't.
Yalda ain't. I do say ain't, and my mother hates it.
I say whomstiv when I've gotten, like, extremely confused by something. Like, the whomstiv?
I say y'all and ain't.
Alright. So,
Y'all shouldn't have done what you did.
it was extremely, it was alright, like, literally 5 seconds ago, and now it is not looking good at all. Because y'all have some OP crap on you.
Fucked it up.
Okay. Then Pelanavin is going to step out around you folks, because it is, unless you were moving. Were you moving? Or are you good? Sorry.
Nah, I'll stay.
Okay. Alright. Then... Time to get Pelanavin's thing out. Okay. Gotta move all my crap again. So, okay. Pelanavin is going to cast Sacred Flame on the creature.
Oh shit.
After stepping around you folks. Let me see what that does. Nope, I had it. Pelanavin is catching Sacred Flame. Flame-like radiance descends on the creature you can see within range. 60 feet, so yeah, that's fine. Target must succeed in dexterity throw or take 1d8 damage. Okay. So...
I'm glad someone has some restraint here.
Now I gotta get out the other book and see what the crap its dexterity is. Not terrible. Alright. So that's... So many books. That's 9. I don't remember what the save was. Would the save be my spell DC?
Yeah.
Okay. What is my spell DC? Please tell me I wrote that down.
8 plus proficiency plus...
Yeah, okay, so the spell's DC is 13, so no, that does not make it. And then 1d8 radiant damage. Oh, that's great.
So you either rolled a 1 or an 8.
I rolled a 2. And now I'm trying to think. I don't add anything to that, do I? Is it just the 8? Hi, I'm Megan, and I don't know what the crap I'm doing.
I don't think so, because usually there's like abilities that add...
Yeah, no, just 1d8 radiant damage. Okay. So it takes 2. Which means... there. Okay. And now it is the creature's turn. Da, 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 da. Okay. And it is going to... Okay. It is going to breathe fire at you, Sky. It's going to take a 5... It's going to walk forward 5 feet, so you're right in the cone.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Any
you
save
and
or anything?
You must make a dexterity save.
Make sure. Yep. No. I doubt it.
Actually, yeah, because you were supposed to make a 12.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I gotta halves this.
Good.
Yeah. Honestly, it is good that you made it because that was a lot of damage otherwise. You take 10 damage, 10 fire damage.
Okay.
And that is going to be the end of its turn because it's not getting any closer to you because y'all have beat it to shit already.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it is now Jay's turn.
I want to fucking do something. I'm never listening to that shit again.
Because you casted...
We thought it would be a bigger thing.
Did I actually get to cast Hunter's Mark on it?
Yeah, you cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay, so, okay.
Sniper.
Let me read again what that does. Extra
Boom.
1d6
Headshot.
to the target when you hit it with a weapon. Okay. Yeah. So...
Do a 360 no scope.
This is gonna be a process, but okay. Alright. Oh no, wrong thing. Okay, roll 1d20 plus 6, I think. Yes.
Shooting it is +6 for you.
Yes. Okay.
Yep, that hits.
Alright, and it does... Okay, I'll do the regular damage first. Seven plus 1d6. So 13.
Nice. I don't even know why I had you roll that extra damage because that first one killed it.
I extra killed it. And apparently there's something I do after death. Let me see. Oh.
You target another thing.
Okay.
If
You
there
can
is a
target
target.
another
Are there
thing.
any other shits around here?
No, there was
Okay.
not. That was the only thing that came through, and the
Cool.
sort of glowing circle
Guess
had...
I'll go retrieve my
Yay.
trap that did that thing.
I'll go retrieve my dagger that is probably still in its corpse.
I'll go have the walk of shame.
And as the creature fell, you noticed that the glowing circle that had still existed while it was around has faded, and the smoke is just sort of billowing off into the sky. And Pelinavin walks forward carefully with her spear clutched in her hand, and she looks terrified. And she says, "That's a hellhound. Why is that here?"
That was going to be my next question for you, actually.
I don't know, but we should probably go and tell what was her name?
I didn't give her a name. She was just the Mother Superior.
No, yeah, I could not remember that. I don't know why. We should probably go tell the Mother Superior.
Pelenovin nods, and she sort of runs
Sky
towards
goes
the
with her.
dormitories. And she, in a move that seems pretty out of character for her, from what you know, she bangs very loudly on the Mother Superior's door, and you hear a sort of sort of sound as she comes to,
Ma'am, it's us.
and she rushes forward, and she's throws open the door, and you see her hair is out of her braid and is sort of falling freely around her in slight waves because it had been in a braid all day. And she's like, "Oh my goodness, did you?" And Pelenovin nods, and she sort of reaches out and tugs at her sleeve to bring her back towards the creature. And as she approaches, her hand goes up to her chest in shock, and she says, "What in all that is holy is that thing doing here?"
Well, it was destroying your garden, and we killed it.
And she sort of starts leaning over, and she looks like she's going to faint.
Sky kind of braces themselves to try and catch her.
And
In case that happens.
Pelenovin reaches out and sort of wraps her arms around the Mother Superior, and she says, "How? Why?" And she's kind of wobbling.
This
And
guy's like rubbing her back. Like, okay, I get this is freaky, but now's not the time.
and she says to you, "You must tell the captain what has come here this night. Someone is trying to defile our holy ground." And she's got tears in her eyes now.
Okay. Do you have any idea who could have done this?
I don't know who could, but I know who would if they had the ability.
Okay, who?
Those watchers of the new gods. The ones who run around yelling those awful things. And you remember the young man from the day before who had come to the Temple of the Guiding Light, ringing his bell and yelling about the old gods are dead, long live the new gods. That
Maybe we should have killed him.
No,
That's not Sky, that's me.
no. I think we have a better use for him.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
and Pelinel, not Pelinel, dang it! Y'all haven't met them yet, and you won't for a while. Pelenovin is sort of rocking the Mother Superior to sort of try and calm her down, and she looks to you and says, "I thank you for your help." And she reaches into her pocket and hands you the contract, and her hands are shaking a little. And she says, "Please, tell them what has happened." And she starts to
Sky
guide.
takes the contract and gives both of them a hug. Because it seems like they need it.
Yeah. It's not every day that an infernal creature appears on what should be sacred ground. And
Sacred ground.
yes, this is a temple. The ground should be blessed and are supposed to be blessed. And the Mother Superior takes the hug graciously, and she wraps her arms around you and squeezes you tight. And she says, "Thank you." And
It'll be okay. We'll get this sorted out.
Pelenovin is a little bit stiffer, but she also sort of takes the hug willingly. But she doesn't say anything.
It's gonna be okay.
And Pelinavan pulls the Mother Superior back, and she gives you a nod, and she starts leading the Mother Superior back to her room to try and calm her down. All praise Kim, the editor supreme.